And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Come one, come all, and welcome to the Cosmic Countdown, the world's greatest movie countdown show. I am just my 2 cents. I am joined by my friend and co-host Aaron the Dog, and we are counting down our top 100 favorite movies. Please enter the theater in orderly fashion. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as I mentioned, I'm joined by one Aaron the Dog. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm great, man. 3 more weeks of this to go, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, the hits keep coming. I loved all the movies we're obviously going to be talking about on both sides, since we do reveal the movies that each of us choose. But some I obviously love a little more, which are the ones I'll talk about. But I'm doing good. Looking forward to the weekend. Shout out to the special Friday show here. That's my bad. My schedule's kind of shifting around lately. But yeah, got a shitty UFC card leading into the Super Bowl with a shitty Super Bowl, frankly. So yeah, I'm doing good, but shitty sports ahead.
Yeah, for sure, man. And dude, it is no problem with the changing of the dates. That's totally and any time moving forward in the future, I have a super flexible schedule, so like it really is whatever time works best for you with these kind of streams. So I appreciate you making the time on a Friday, dude. We are cooking, boys. It's a Friday night movie night kind of day. So yeah, man. Cosmic Countdown. We are deep into it, gentlemen. Today is going to be number 15 through 11, and we have been doing some punting, my friend. I think we punted last week or the week before, but we have punted 10 times. We have hit the double digits. I'm still holding out for that dozen. That's my original prediction. I still think there's a chance. We've got 15 more now to make it happen. So we'll see. But these have been the punts so far, and we will see what we have got today. So I think I will go first today, and then we will just go like that. Anyone that's new or sees this that is new, go back and forth. Whatever the movies on the list are, 5 per week, counting them down from number 100 to 1. So here we go. I got real silly with it this week, dude. These are mild. This is number 15 through 11. So these are very like near and dear to my heart kind of movies. Like they have like a combination of like massive nostalgia value or just like crazy rewatchability. These movies I have all seen. Well, I would say even the newest one I've seen at least 50 times. So yeah, these are all very comfortable movies for me, like comfort blanket kind of movies. And that's why you like a couple of these, you'd be like, some people would see this and be like, what the fuck, dude? Like you have this movie that high. Yes, I do, because it's either that funny to me or it's that like powerful, of a story or whatever. So here we go. Number 15 for me. Okay. Make sure I got the banner and everything. Yes. Okay. My number 15. This is a very well-known 90s comedy. And this, you can debate whether it's his best or not, but this is my personal favorite. I've gone back and forth with this and one other movie that I also have very high on my list, but to me, this is my favorite of this dude's work. I'm talking about 1995, talking about Adam Sandler, and I'm talking about maybe one of the silliest things that he's ever done, but it's probably the funniest to me. I'm talking about Billy Madison.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Yeah, suntan lotion is good for me. You protect me, tee hee hee. So yeah, it really is very stupid, and everyone's seen it. So I'm not going to waste time with the plot or anything, but it still just gets a bunch of belly laughs from me. I know that like Happy Gilmore is pretty famous, and that's very popular, and Shooter McGavin has deserved popularity as one of the greatest like comedic villains. But I'm gonna tell you what, dude. Fucking Eric in this movie, dude, and his rivalry with Billy makes for like some of the funniest moments. Like even this shit in the Avatar, like the gibberish with the fucking like at the dinner table, and then just like their rivalry. He's like a comic book villain, dude. He's like over the top nefarious, like literally like lurking in his office, poking holes through a fucking like cardboard head of Billy. This movie's ridiculous, and I just love it.
Yeah, man, and the Principal Max is fucking so funny. All the supporting cast honestly is great. Veronica Vaughn, obviously Chris Farley as the bus driver. I don't care what his actual name is because it's Chris Farley, the bus driver.
That damn Sasquatch.
Yeah, fucking Frank, Jack, like the racing of the pickles. And you have this in the correct order as well, in my opinion, because I do prefer Billy Madison to Happy Gilmore. I've thought about this one for a while. Billy Madison was, I think, my first Adam Sandler I ever saw. Grew up with it. Stop Looking at Me, Swan. Maybe the hardest I ever laughed at the time when I saw that. I don't know why, but that just killed me.
Dude, when he forces Ernie to like make the phone call and like see if Miss Vaughn likes him, dude.
Yeah,
and see tomorrow in class, Miss Vaughn. You blow it. Like fucking like yeeting on kids, like fucking bullying little kids, dude. It's so funny.
Directed by a female as well.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, Tamara Davis.
Had a couple bangers, man.
Dude, she has got a crazy two-piece with Half Baked and Billy Madison, dude. That
Maybe
is
one of the best two pieces in comedic history, frankly.
Seriously, man. Like she is a funny fucking shit. One of the funniest like female like comedic.
I guess she has stopped making movies because she just was like, I'm good, which I respect.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a pretty good ratio of like good movies. So yeah, man, Billy Madison always cracks me up. I'm not gonna waste time like butchering the fucking quotes and stuff, but yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah, great choice. One of my favorites as a kid, and still holds up as an adult.
It does, dude. It kind of feels like a stoner movie too. It's not explicitly, but it's like that's like you get stoned to watch Billy Madison, you're just gonna fucking geek out the whole time.
Yeah, it goes right with kind of with the brand of Happy. I feel like
Billy Madison is stuff. Thank you very much, Miss Lippy.
I feel like Billy Madison is way more the brand of Happy Madison than Happy Gilmore is. Like
Happy Gilmore is much more like mainstream, and like I feel like it's more popular, has more mainstream popularity. But like I personally find Happy Gilmore funnier. Like it's got more
Billy
like
Madison funnier.
Say what?
You find Billy Madison funnier?
I do. I find Billy Madison funnier.
Okay.
And I like it's just more like I don't know. I just like ridiculous, kind of like mean-spirited comedy sometimes, and like but it does like have a heart too.
Yeah, it's easily teed up. Like the premise is so teed up, and like you can like break it down all you want, and like that's fine. But like it's a great movie premise.
Bro, I love the fucking decathlon. And I love the back and forth. Like each of them are like better at certain things. Like Eric's like playing the violin perfectly. He busts out the clarinet and just like he's good. And then they try to do the fucking acting, and he's like trying to read from the book to be or not to be. And then fucking Billy's just fucking got it down with the costume and everything. And the director gets right in his face and just clapping. Dude, I love the little shit like that.
Yeah, it's stupid. Good choice for number 15. My 15, it's not exactly a change, not exactly like a change of theme like we've had so often where you've talked about stupid comedy and I've talked about some serious bullshit. This is a action comedy meta self-aware movie before those were a thing by about 20 years. Like this movie, it was so ahead of its time, and I don't understand how it hasn't had more of a resurgence than it has. It is Arnold making his return to the list. Arnold will not this he'll be back. I'll just say that after this movie. But it's John McTiernan directed Last Action Hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
killed my cousin. You killed my father. Big mistake.
Yeah, like this movie is so fucking great, man. Like it's insane how much fun it is. Just about a kid getting sucked into a movie when he uses his magical ticket, and then he becomes part of this world, and Jack Slater thinks he's Jack Slater in this world, and like then they cross over into the real world. Charles Dance as the villain.
Oh my god, he's so good.
Dude, incredible performance. Like he really does. Like the glass eye shit was so cool as a kid. Like even when I first got glasses, I wanted to get contacts with like smiley faces in it and shit like that. And
yeah, dude, I'll lose an eye, dude. I'll fucking pop an eye out just so I can have a sweet glass eye.
No, I'm like the contacts you used to be able to get, which they'd have like fucking like temporary, like I don't know, either way. Like it was this movie is just a great time, and it holds up to such a degree now with all the like wannabe meta shit that like you see with movies and TV shows and everything. This movie pulled it off in such like a seamless way, I felt like. And like they have like a cartoon cat working for the police force. Like fucking like this movie is just wild. It has great action to it as well. Makes fun of itself while still taking itself pretty serious as well, which really helps the movie as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
definitely, just like, dude. It definitely helps the latter half of it.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's just like you've got Tom Noonan as the fucking Ripper, Tommy the Ripper, and it just like it's just, or you know, and just then they're all crossing over into the real world, and they see themselves, the actors, and like the actors were like willing to make fun of themselves to a degree, which was interesting, and all of which being done with John McTiernan, like a tremendous action director, like at the helm. So all the action looked really good too, and it had like, you know, the Asian guy from so many action movies. It was like that extra, and like all these different extras, and like it's just a really good time. You know, it holds up on. I've watched this movie so many times, and it just holds up. And to me, like, I feel like it started to get a little bit of love, but I don't know how this movie was a flop when it came out. Like, I don't know how this movie didn't change the game. Like, this movie's just, I don't see many flaws with this movie, to be honest. I think it's pretty flawless.
Bro, so I was a big Arnold fan from a young age, and I remember when this movie came out. I saw this movie in theaters in a second run theater. Like I did that with Jurassic Park 2 the same year at the same theater, because they both came out. So like I saw Jurassic Park like several months after it had come out, and then like Last Action Hero like several months after it had come out. But dude, this was like one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies growing up. Dude, the Ripper was nightmare fuel for your boy for a while, man. Because I saw this when I was like 9 or 10, maybe, and he fucking scared the shit out of me. He's a really freaky villain, and when at the end, towards the end, when Benedict realizes that he can use the ticket to like bring these movie villains back, man, like watching that and like. First of all, thank you for having this on your list. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I had so much fucking fun watching this movie. Dude, this movie is a fucking good time. And I was watching it, and I was thinking about that, like, man, the implications of that are crazy. It's a really, like, nefarious, like, dastardly scheme to, like, when he's talking about, like, Hannibal Lecter, I'll fetch him. Like, and the special effects, like, yeah, it's the early 90s, so some of them look dated, but some of them, dude, like the movie ticket itself, and putting his hand through the wall to like go to the other side, like that shit is pretty fucking good for like early 90s, man. Like I really like the movie ticket effects. Like it really is like, oh shit, this is a magical ticket. And like back then it was like, holy fuck. And I was kind of a latchkey kid at that point in my life, so I really related to Danny's character or whatever. So I felt like I was like, dude, I felt like I was going on the adventure with him. But this is such a good, like, nostalgic rewatch. It's got this great, like, and I mean this in the best way. It's got this great, like, B quality movie to it now. Like if you don't take this movie, if you don't, this is you can't think about this kind of movie too hard. You really can't, man. Like you can't be like, oh well, this is kind of like a plot hole. No, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it all wrong. This is the kind of movie you kick back, relax, and enjoy the fucking ride. And it is a fucking good time, dude. Bro, that fucking Jack Slater theme song was tattooed. It is so catchy, dude. And yeah, man.
That Van Halen who's doing the guitar in that?
Say what?
I think it's Van Halen doing the guitar in that.
Dude, is it? It wouldn't surprise me. Like, I had the soundtrack to this movie, a pretty good hard rock soundtrack. It's got like Megadeth songs, that AC/DC song, Big Gun. Dude, this is a great, like, very, very underrated Schwartz movie. It is fucking funny. It's got some great, like, one-liners. And yeah, man, I think, dude, Tom Noonan is so good as the Ripper, man. He's so when he's like, dude, the Ripper, he brought back the Ripper, and he fucking like jumps onto the fucking thing and like oh man, I love too that, like you said, it's very self-aware, it's very tongue-in-cheek, but as the movie goes along, like I said, the implications of what could happen if that kind of thing fell into the wrong hands and all that, it keeps the stakes pretty fucking high. And like,
I agree.
Dude, and especially when I love the whole Seventh Seal part of it too. That I won't spoil that for anybody that hasn't seen it, but that part is great to me. And yeah, man, this is a movie for people that love movies and know how to not take movies like this too seriously and really just appreciate that. Like, this is a fucking good time at the movies. I'm glad that it has sort of kind of started developing a small kind of like cultish thing to it, which is good. But at the time, dude, Schwarzenegger, this really bummed Schwarzenegger out, this movie not being a success. But I like that he's kind of realized, like, oh man, you know what? People are starting to come around to it, and like, I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Number 15.
Yeah, man. Dude, I had so much fun watching this, man. All right, so my number 14. Let me go ahead and record this because I forget to do this sometimes. All right, Last Action Hero. I love all the cliches too. The cop, like 2 weeks to retirement. Dude, the guitar was killing me in this, man. It was so good.
Yeah, it's a smart movie. Everybody's like super talented who's involved with it too, and you can tell.
Yep.
Like fucking Art Carney was in the movie.
Dude, all the movie references, man. He killed Mozart. Mozart. You killed him. He told me you did. All right. My number 14. We are definitely gonna get a little offbeat with this one. This is a movie that I feel, I'm not going to say like underappreciated, because everyone that I've shown this to that hasn't seen it, like, enjoys it. But I'll say it's very, very underseen. This is a very underseen and unlike, people just kind of don't know about it. But this is my favorite Western movie. And this is my favorite role of Johnny Depp's. This is 1995, I think. Jim Jarmusch's Dead Man. I fucking love this movie so much. This is a movie that it was in my rotation. Like, I would put this movie on and just go to sleep to it. I've seen this movie a lot, so that's kind of what it is. It's like a comfort movie to me, but it's so weird. This is totally a quote unquote acid Western. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's very like, it has very neo-noir qualities to it. but it's kind of just like a Western. It's Johnny Depp goes out to this town and he just finds himself embroiled in this like adventure, and he ends up. But what makes it different and what makes this not your typical Western is one, the director and his style of his just kind of weird, like, I don't know, man. How do you even fucking describe Jarmusch? Like, it's just
cerebral.
It is. It's very cerebral, and it's very it's all about the character interactions, and this movie is just really fucking funny. Like Johnny Depp and his relationship with Nobody, who is his Native American companion, really makes this movie to me. And it's a movie where it kind of leaves some things ambiguous as far as like what's really going on. Like they kind of give you some hints that there's some unreliable narrator things going on, but I think you can watch this movie like straight up too, and not get too like far into a rabbit hole with that. But this, I for all the reasons I love other Western movies, I love this one. Like it's got some awesome like shootout scenes and standoffs and some cold-blooded lines and shit like that. And it's kind of it's got some really like I don't know if revisionist Western is the right terms, but like it's a really kind of like, especially when he goes to the town of Machine, it's a really like gritty, nasty like depiction of like a town. It's not like your like romanticized version. It's like gross, like there's just shit everywhere. There's a dude getting his dick sucked in the alley in broad daylight. It's just like I like it how it's this kind of like gritty, nasty movie. But dude, Depp kills it. And Gary Farmer as Nobody, or Xavier, is one of my favorite characters too. Billy Bob Thornton is absolutely hysterical in this, as is Iggy Pop, and I can't remember the English actor that plays the other fur trapper, but that scene always stands out to me. It's just so ridiculous and random, and the movie is kind of like random too. It feels kind of like a dream, and it's particularly towards the end, man. It gets really like out there, but dude, it's awesome. The soundtrack or the score rather by Neil
Young.
Dude, haunting. Probably my favorite thing that Neil Young's ever done. I like some Neil Young songs, but he's never been like one of my favorites. But man, this is some of his greatest contributions to anything. Like it's so good. And anybody that hasn't seen this movie, if you like Westerns, dude, fucking watch this one. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so different. It really is like a very hypnotizing movie too, to where like you don't really have to care about the plot. You just want to observe kind of everything going on. And it's just like unlike a lot of other movies. I feel like Jim Jarmusch makes a ton of really just offbeat movies, and I think this is his best, but he has a ton of really good ones as well. And yeah, the cinematography, the music, the acting, but like most of all, it's like the atmosphere that he creates in this movie. It's just phenomenal.
It is. It's great, and it's
has never been better.
Yeah. This is my favorite Johnny Depp role. He is kind of a quirky, offbeat actor, and it just goes so well with this role. He starts out as kind of like this like timid, like weird, shy, out of place dude from Cleveland who ends up like transplanted into this like, Wild West world. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, he's a killer of white men. William Blake, did you kill the white man who killed you?
William Blake.
Yeah. Dude, it's there's white man's medal next to your heart. It's I try to dig it out. Touch your heart. Release the spirit within. Dude, I love the dialogue in this movie. I love the relationship between William Blake and Xavier, and man, fucking dude, Robert Mitchum is so fucking funny in this. Talking about that Pinto.
Mm-hmm.
I want a full description of that Pinto. I want that horse back. Shut up. You get this back, or I'm prepared to do a little killing of my own. He has a great bit role. Lance Henriksen is really good as the main baddie. Michael Wincott is really good in it. A lot of good. Jarmusch gets really good character performances.
Yes.
And this is shining example. Like you said, the cinematography is crazy. Lots of really unique, like he's not doing a whole lot. He's just doing it in a different way.
Yes.
Like holding the camera in a place where you normally wouldn't for as long. Just little shit like that. And I think it's very effective, man. And it gets really trippy towards the end. Jack, what's up, Jack? If you haven't seen Dead Man, dude, roll a fat one and watch Dead Man. It's funny and awesome and just trippy as fuck. I love this movie. It will always be one of my favorites.
Yeah, well said. I don't know what else I can really top with that.
Yeah, me neither. And since he hasn't seen it, I won't spoil it for Jackie Boy. So yeah, just see that shit, Jack. Billy Bob Thornton is hysterical.
Good choice though. All right. I started my 15 with a McTiernan movie. Staying with McTiernan, talked about Die Hard with a Vengeance last week. Did you really think that Die Hard wasn't going to show up on the list? Die Hard is my number 14. So you go from Dead Man to Die Hard for the 14. So a little bit of, and was this a punt?
Welcome to the party, pal. It is a punt. We're feeling this punt.
All right. That's what I thought. So, I mean, who hasn't seen Die Hard at this point? I'm not going to go into the discussion about if it is a Christmas movie. I don't care at all. Yeah, at all. I also don't like the word moist. So, cool. Welcome to 2002. But, yeah, no, everybody is just perfect in this movie. Obviously, John McClane, played by the Bruce Willis, Reginald VelJohnson as Lieutenant Al Powell, Paul Gleason playing the Dick Detective, just like Dwayne Robinson. This movie is just so great. It's so perfectly structured, sets up kind of the broken family man who, is trying to save his marriage. He goes to sign in and she's under her maiden name. Jack is a fucking idiot. That's fine. I just don't know how you cannot be a fan of this movie. But okay. I just feel like it's pretty perfectly set up. The villain obviously played by the Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber, legendary fucking villain.
Mr. Takagi.
Him and Takagi's face off. I feel like just really freaked me out as a kid. It was so tense, felt so real, and just like Takagi went down for his people, which is not believable.
Dude, R.I.P. Takagi, man. Yeah. He was a real one. Ellis is a fucking bitch.
Yeah, Ellis is a fucking bitch and a cokehead, which is hilarious to watch as I'm older because I didn't get that as a kid.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, definitely didn't. But yeah, no, this movie is just like it was one of my first action movies, and it still holds up. And like it's one that I feel the need to want to rewatch every once in a while.
I saw this movie at a pretty young age myself, and so this was kind of like one of the gold standards for just like a straight up action movie. And so that bar was set for me very high early, and it's aged really well for me, man. Like, yeah, it's worn out, it's played, I can get that, but like, dude, it's still like believable for that for that time. It's like you said, it's all set up. It was a great plan given the technology at the time, and like, dude, Willis he was the first like believable action character, because you have to think about the times too. This is a time of like Stallone and the Schwartz and all these like larger than life jack dudes who can just kill 1,000 people like no problemo. But like Willis is like getting his ass kicked, constantly on the run, like constantly like at a disadvantage, and like just gutting his way through it. And I think that still holds true, man. Like you can still like, fuck, dude, you like when he's in the fucking shaft, dude, when he's in that fucking ventilation shaft, you can almost like feel how like fucking claustrophobic it is, and fucking it's hysterical too, man. Oh, no bullets. We think I'm fucking stupid, Hans. You were saying like that. The action is dope too, man. Like it's still sick. Yeah, this Jack wild with that, dude.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I don't listen to differing opinions on it. To be honest, I just can't get there. So
no, it's still sick, dude. And it's like there's so many one-liners, man. The quarterback is toast. Fucking Argyle kills it too, man.
Argyle's great, man.
Yeah,
it's Die Hard. Like we all know it. We either love it or we're Jack.
Right. Well said. Well said. Yeah, very very happy to punt that one. All right. So number 13 for me is another one. We've all seen it. People like it to varying degrees, but rewatching it, I tried not to laugh at some of this stuff, and it was just like getting belly laughs out of me. Some parts more so than others. This is a movie that at one point it probably would have been like my favorite movie of all time, but considering how many times I've fucking seen it, it's still got some staying power. It's still really fucking funny. It's 1994, Dumb and Dumber. Everyone's seen it. Everyone knows it. You know, I can't really like
classic.
It's a classic for a reason, though. Like, dude, the fucking the beer bottles full of piss always gets me. That always cracks me up when he spills the fucking piss on Harry's shoulder. That fucking look that fucking Jeff and Lloyd's like, fuck, dude. Yeah, that little Harlan Williams scene always fucking gets me. Give me that booze, you little pumpkin pie haircutted freak. Dude, yeah.
I just felt like Lloyd was so much dumber than Harry.
God, he's stupid. He can't fucking read.
Like Harry wasn't that dumb, to be honest.
Harry was just like really bad with women.
Yeah, he was just but he wasn't like very stupid, to be honest, or dumb. But I guess that's true. He was dumber. And yeah, Jack, great. Just I'm glad you're here, but at the same point, I don't trust your opinion on movies anymore.
Jack, considering how many movies you haven't seen and like how many classics you're like, nah.
But Rollerball, the remake.
Is that the fucking one with Chris Klein in it, dude?
Yeah. Chris Klein, the fella from American Pie.
Chris Klein from Election. But yeah, man, nah. What up,
Jack? You're not a bad-looking guy.
Jack, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad to see that
you're not ugly. Or you're not ugly. Is that what it was? I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but right on my ass after you kiss it. Fucking, I love how they just turn on each other so quickly. I'm going to kill you.
Mary, swimmy, slappy, salmon, Swanberg, Samsonite. I was way off.
Yeah. They literally had Swanson. Nah.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Dude, yeah. There's so many classic fucking scenes in this, and Jim Carrey is Lloyd Christmas is absolutely dumber.
Oh my God, we landed on the moon.
Right.
Yeah, this movie's great. Yeah, you're incredibly handsome. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's number 13 for me. Everyone's seen it, so it's not like.
Yeah, we're hitting some of the classics, but my 13, this is definitely changing the gears significantly. It's a social commentary for sure. I would not call it a comedy, though. It's by Mr. Kubrick, which I believe this is at least the second Stanley Kubrick movie on the list. But yeah, Stanley Kubrick, A Clockwork Orange. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, this man, he's into rape, ultraviolence, and Beethoven. That's his interest. This movie holds nothing back. Has a ton to say as well. It's just shot perfectly by Kubrick, in my opinion. I think the use of colors and whites in the movie are really interesting. There's tons of imagery and symbolism that you need to watch this movie multiple times, I think, in order to really absorb it. But even on one watch, just like how Alex is played by Malcolm McDowell, like, is just like tremendous. Like, it's just, and like the kind of statements it's making about rehabilitation and what causes violence and how do we deal with violence, and just, but it's not, it's just done in such a raw way. There's some really hard to watch scenes with the hooligan, with the droogs, obviously. But like, it's the 70s where they made it look as authentic as possible. And it does have uncomfortable scenes, and it's okay to be uncomfortable and still watch it. Like, it just has so much to say about rehabilitation, media, prison, violence, our society, where our society's going, parenting, just all of the above and so much more. And I just feel like this movie is, shocking. It's so much more than just the eyes being taped, to the taped eyelids being taped open, although that is hard to watch. Like, there's just so much more to this movie. And it's just so much of what makes the 70s great. 1971, this movie's 52 years old at this point, and it could have been made tomorrow. Like, it's fascinating to me how much this movie holds up on a watch too.
Dude, this is still one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen. Like, it, and it's good. It is a really, like, as a piece of art, like, it's saying a lot. And you said you touched on it, like, it's a lot of different what's the word? A lot of aspects of society are definitely like unpacked. And yeah, I mean, it's a fucking good movie, man. It's this is probably the third time I've watched it all the way through, and it's just not a movie I can watch a lot. It's fucking good, but it is fucked up, and like, it's unsettling. But it's not, like you said, it's not just the eyelid thing and being forced to watch something you don't want to watch. Like, that is fucked up. And the idea of that, and certainly the visceral image of him like being like, no, stop. But it's actually the music for me that's like the most fucked up, and like him getting programmed to like, it's like, no, this is the ultimately, like, tables have turned, and like, what made you and what you like is now going to be your undoing. Like, it's really fucked up, man. Like, the rape scene is obviously horrendous. And not the unflinching, like, portrayal of it is obviously for the 70s. Like, holy fuck, dude. I couldn't imagine seeing it back then. Yeah, it's really it's a powerful movie, all right. I don't know if I would have it in my top 200 just because it's a movie. Like I haven't seen it very much, but I can definitely acknowledge that it's a fucking good movie, and it's fucking gnarly. If you haven't seen it, like, I think everyone should probably watch it once. I certainly understand if they don't want to watch it more than once, but you have to at least recognize that it's a crazy fine piece of art.
It definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing it got made, but at the same point, like, it's not just meaningless. Like, the ultraviolence is for a reason in the movie, and like, it's just like, it's making a point, and I think it's making a really effective way that Kubrick has done over and over again throughout his career. So,
definitely,
one of my favorite of all time. Obviously, it's 13.
I think that is kind of the point. It's like,
I enjoy hard to watch shit too. Like, I like feeling that way with a movie.
Yeah, and I'm not that much. I'm not that way as much. And that's just like, hey, That's like why we have very different lists.
Right.
But like I said, the movie right before this was a punt. So
Exactly.
yeah, man, this is fuck that. I'm trying to think of it's what you're saying about the ultra violence is why it's so disturbing because it's like, yeah, this kind of shit happens
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Right.
Yeah, it might not be portrayed in like this, like kind of
Grandiose.
three dudes in matching outfits, like breaking in and
no,
raping
but that's
someone.
missing the whole point.
Exactly. It's a reflection of society.
That's missing the forest for the trees.
Exactly. This is a reflection of society movie. It's reflecting some of the worst parts of society back in people's faces.
And how they deal with them.
Right. And it's something that people don't want to think about and don't like some of the most horrific things you could possibly imagine. It's like, yeah, it happens. And like, it's a very unflinching portrayal of it. And it's always a powerful experience, but it's not something that I can go back to very often.
Yeah, I respect that.
But yeah, it was definitely, it always has an impact. It always has me like thinking about shit like, man, like there are some dark, twisted parts of society.
Yep. Kubrick knew.
He did, man. And he wasn't afraid to portray them. So my God, we could not have a more tonal shift here. This fucking movie, man, some people will see this and just lose all respect for me as a human, but I'm sorry, has always been one of the funniest, most ridiculous movies ever to me. This movie would not crack most people's like top 1,000, let alone like top 25, but I don't give a fuck, man. Because I was even thinking about it, I was like, man, do I really have this movie like ranked too high? And
Yeah.
I'm watching movies like Billy Madison and Dumb and Dumber. I'm sorry, dude. This one just makes me laugh more. I'm not saying it's a quote unquote better movie or like more classic than Dumb and Dumber, but just like it just makes me laugh more. And this is why I have it ranked so high. So I just want to make that clear.
Uh-huh.
We are going to go to number 12. We're going to go to 2010, and it is classic MacGruber.
You either get it or you don't.
Yeah, I didn't even. I remember the MacGruber skits on SNL, and I thought they were funny. Like the Charles Barkley one is probably the funniest, but they're still fucking good. Like I found several other ones recently that were very good. But this movie is, to me, like I've seen this way more than a lot of other people have, so that's probably why I find it so quotable. But it's like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Forte is ridiculous. Like the character of MacGruber is so absurd, and he does such a good job of making him like unlikable and likable at the same time. So it's really easy to make fun of him and how stupid he is. But Kilmer,
Jack's never heard of MacGruber.
Say what?
Jack's never heard of MacGruber.
Oh my God, Jack! You've never heard of it? Have you heard of the skit at least? The SNL skit? God, I mean, I'm not surprised. So, yeah,
I love MacGruber. I absolutely love this movie. I loved it when it came out. This is like similar to Last Action Hero, where I've been waiting for people to catch up. They slowly have.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, this movie's
it's so stupid.
Forte is phenomenal. No one else could ever have been MacGruber. So stupid.
MacGruber, I thought you were dead. So did I, but I'm not. I'm alive and I'm putting together. I love the coffee shop scene when he dresses her up as him, going inside. Don't worry, Vic, we're 7 blocks away. 7 blocks? Okay, you got me about 20 blocks.
Yeah, no,
Jack. How spots closer?
Jack don't watch no SNL shit.
Yeah, man. This movie, Jack, again, get you some goodness and kick back.
I don't know if he'd like this one or not.
Maybe he would. I don't know. Like I don't know, man. with the Val Kilmer shit, the over the top Val Kilmer.
Yeah, actually, I think you'd rock with it.
I love how he just bullies MacGruber the whole fucking time and just makes fun of him. Like that's his whole thing. He makes fun of him for like blowing up all the dudes. He's like mocking him, like, oh, I'm on my mommy. Was MacGruber gonna rip my throat out? Like,
yeah, no, that movie's great. I haven't seen it a ton of times, but every time I've seen it, I've had a great time with it. I feel like it's one of the better SNL movies ever.
Definitely. Kristen Wiig is good in it too, man. Like I've never been a huge Kristen Wiig fan, but like she's got some good lines in it.
Okay, I like Kristen Wiig.
Yeah,
nothing against her, but
stick it where the sun don't shine, cunt. And where would that be? Your butt. Up your butthole, dude. The I think probably my favorite segment is like the party scene when he busts into the poker room and like, oh, I hope you enjoy being date raped later. This is my daughter. Sorry, she's my wife.
This is my daughter.
You're lying, and you're a piece of shit. But, all right, and I love how he's describing how he's gonna like the goons start to surround him, and he's like, "Okay, first of all, how are we gonna start this? I'm gonna kick you in the jaw. I'm gonna kick you in the chin, breaking your jaw in 4 places. I do want to get a throat rip in. I think that's gonna be you, small fry." And then just fucking toss him through the window, man. All right, I could talk about MacGruber all day, but yeah, that is I have it ranked very highly, and it's because I just can't stop laughing every time I watch it. So
yeah, I respect it though, but yeah, my 12. Going to shift back into a little more of a societal dissertation side of things, you could say. This is from 85. However, Terry Gilliam's Brazil. Yeah, I saw this movie probably 10 to 12 years ago, maybe closer to 12 years ago. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, it really had an impact on kind of my attitude towards what I wanted to do for like a living with my life. If I wanted to work for the government, I was thinking about actually working for the government at this point before I saw this movie. And ironically, it's about kind of like just like this low-level bureaucrat getting, kind of through his day-to-day life by daydreaming, about himself being a virtuous hero and, saving this damsel in distress type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then he's investigating a case that led to the wrongful arrest and eventual death of an innocent guy. It's just like all about kind of how government bureaucracies are just bullshit, basically. And just, the kind of the one little mistake and like lie led to all this chaos. And just, it's about a guy breaking through and establishing like his dreams eventually. And Sam Lowry, who's played by Jonathan Pryce, just such a great performance. Robert De Niro is really funny in the movie as like a thief named Archibald, or Harry as he goes by. Ian Holm, Bob Hoskins. I mean, Terry Gilliam, just one of the most bizarre, kind of surreal directors of all time as well. Yeah, he's a mad scientist, just like Jack says there. And yeah, I love this movie. I love everything about it. Yeah, it's just a kind of a phenomenal visual feast of kind of imagination. It's really cleverly written. The themes are very complex. A lot of metaphors again. The production design. Yeah, I love Terry Gilliam, and I just feel like this is his absolute top notch. I love this movie. It made me, kind of pursue my own dreams, honestly, as dumb as that sounds, and realize how important that is with regards to what I do with my life. And just,
yeah, dude, that's not dumb.
I appreciate this movie a lot.
Dude, and this is another one, kind of like Last Action Hero. Like, I'm glad you had this on your list because I had not seen Brazil in a long time. And when I watched it before, I think it was in school. I think I watched this like senior year or something, and like didn't like drama or English or something. And I was just kind of like, I was totally zoned out. But on this last one, yeah, this was great, man. This is another one I remember because I had to watch it in school, I was like, okay, the teacher's like, oh, pay attention to this and that and this theme and this, I'll do whatever, I don't care. But when I watched it this time, I kind of just appreciated what was in front of me, and I really enjoyed it, man. It does have some great messages, but it's done in such like a trippy way and such a funny way too that it doesn't feel like ham-fisted. It's just like it is a great portrayal of, like you said, what like bureaucracy and government control, and like it's an ultimate like you're a cog in a machine kind of like deal. And that dude,
Yeah.
that it like it had an impact on you like that. Like I can totally see that, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no joke. I remember seeing this movie and being like, I don't want to be Sam.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like you watch this movie, and it's like, man, you cannot feel like more confined in a fucking office space, dude. Like
That's what I'm saying.
it's fucking wild, man. Yeah. That's a great choice, dude. Yeah, this was I had a lot of fun rewatching this, and I could appreciate it way more as an older, like more mature person that wasn't like, didn't feel like I was watching this as like a fucking school assignment. Just like, man, this movie is awesome.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Great.
Oh yeah. So that brings us to number 11. Now, Aaron and I have been talking the last couple of weeks about these movies, like revealing them beforehand, and we kind of came to a like an interesting, I guess, crossroads, you might say. I don't know what the right word is, but an intersection, if you will. So, without further ado, I was kind of thinking about how to do this, but I'll just go ahead and get into my number 11. This is a movie that everybody knows about this franchise, and a lot of people have seen these movies, so it's not like I'm gonna be, these are well established like films and takes on these films, but I am talking about my number 11 film, talking about Star Wars. And my number 11 is The Empire Strikes Back. And we had talked about this a little bit. What up, Chico?
Chico.
Tell him what it really is, Bubba.
Protecting the house from the other person who lives here.
That's hilarious. All right, sorry, I was about to type it. I was like, I know I have this banner. So yeah, my number 11 is Empire Strikes Back. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Star Wars because I did watch the whole original trilogy. And the reason I kind of wanted to talk about the whole trilogy and the reason I watched the original trilogy is that's kind of how I saw these first 3 Star Wars movies. Like I watched them all from a really young age, but almost every time I watched them, I did it like every one of them.
Yeah.
I would never just like watch New Hope and then stop. It was like, no, I'm gonna watch Star Wars. So I always kind of saw them as like one movie. And I know that's not right because they all have different directors and
well, supposedly they have different directors.
Supposedly. But it's always kind of just felt like one story, like one singular vision to me. And so I've always kind of like, when I think about the original trilogy, I just kind of look at it as one long movie, and these are just different chapters of it. That's just, I know some people don't do that, but
that was the idea. That was the idea originally.
Right? Like he wrote it.
That was the whole point. Yes.
So like, this is just my favorite chapter of that original story. But let me say this. I love episode 4. I love episode 5. And I love episode 6. I love New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I have nothing bad to say about any of those fucking movies, and I will not tolerate original trilogy slander. I think they're some of the best fucking movies. Say what?
We're on the same page, obviously.
I think it's such every single one of them. The one that came out in 77, the one that came out in 80, the one that came out in 83. They were all groundbreaking for their time. They've all aged incredibly well. And yeah, so I'll just keep it to Empire Strikes Back for this one. But I just want to say that like I had such a good time watching the original trilogy. It was you were talking about how Brazil had like an impact on you. This had a real big impact on me at a young age. And this was all I knew about Star Wars. I didn't know anything about, I mean, there wasn't a ton of extended universe at that point, but still, like, this was some of the first, like, times that I ever thought about, oh, good and evil, right and wrong, like, these big, like, adult kind of themes, but still relatable as, like, a young kid. Like, this movie had a deep impact on me for sure. And this, over time, having watched them all like a lot, this is my favorite chapter of the original trilogy. So I like it the most. It, to me, like, even I don't like thinking about them like separately like this, but if I'm just thinking about Empire Strikes Back, it's aged incredibly well, man. All the, like, the structures, the ships, it's so far ahead of its time. Kind of like I was saying with Blade Runner, like, I'm waiting for it to look like dated and old, and it's just like, this is over 40 years old. No way. This is like, it looks so good. And but yeah, just Empire, it's dark, man. It's the darkest of the first 3 episodes. It has some serious, like, it starts to seriously explore the root of true evil and how you can start to be, how a good person can start to be turned to evil. And it's dark shit, man. Like, the last 30 minutes of this movie, and also even the training with Yoda at Dagobah gets really dark and sinister, and, like, it's kind of just like human nature, man. Kind of what we were talking about, like with Clockwork Orange. It's like, these are things that, like, you have to deal with as you grow up and, like, try and make your way in the world. Like, what is right and wrong? What is the dark? Is the dark side more powerful? And, like, that's why this one just, like, always sticks with me. Like, when he's on Dagobah and he's training with Yoda, he's, like, running through the fucking swamp doing the flips, but he's also hearing Yoda tell him, he's like, look, what's flowing through you, that's the Force, but you got to watch out for the dark side. That flows easy too. And those are some of the lines I didn't pick up on as much because I'm just watching it as a younger age. Like, oh, dude, this is sweet. He's, like, flipping through the jungle and, like, you know, he's lifting shit, but he's like, listen, the dark side flows easy too. It's easier to start to drift towards it. It's more attractive. It's more seductive. And yeah, like, dude, I love the whole thing on Dagobah. I love the battle, the ice battle, or the battle on Hoth, the ice planet. That's awesome to me. And then obviously Sky City and the whole final confrontation with Vader in the bowels of Sky City is some of the, like, that it feels like you're, like, going into hell. Like, it feels like it's like, hey, this is
it's creepy. Like, it really is creepy. It's just, like, mean, dark. It's nasty, kind of all these things that you're, you know, bringing up, and kind of the reasons why, as a kid especially, I didn't care for it as much as the other two. And I remember, like, I didn't know till a certain point this was the best one. Like, everybody would pretty much agree at this point, this is the best one. I'd even say it's the best one. It's just not my favorite one.
Right.
And it's not even my second. Of the original trilogy, I prefer Return and New Hope. So, but watching as I've gotten older, I do appreciate Empire. I just don't enjoy it as much still. Like,
there's some tough shit in it, man. Like, but I'll tell you what, dude, Vader has some cold-blooded lines. Not just the obviously everyone knows, like, I'm your father, but like when he's in the cryo chamber room with them or whatever, and he's like good. He's like Obi-Wan taught you well. He's like, you controlled your fear. He's like, now let me show you the rest. Now release your anger. He's like, only your hatred is going to destroy me. He's like, you're not ready for this. And dude, he just marches him down. He's like, you cannot escape this inevitable truth of what you, this dark truth, you know, deep down inside, you've been feeling it. Is like, all this shit that's been going on in your head. He's like, and I love that whole sequence, man. Marching him out to like that platform, and Luke is starting to feel like, okay, like he does start to try and use like anger and aggression. Like Vader is sticking the lightsaber in his face, and he's like, "You're beaten. You're done." He's like, "Don't let yourself be destroyed," as Obi-Wan did. He's just, you can see him just get mad, and he's like, "Get that fucking thing." He starts to like doing the things that Yoda warned him about, and it's just it's really powerful, man. Like Vader gives him that first taste of the dark side, and it's gnarly, dude. It's one of the most famous like plot twists, I guess you could say, at the time. But it's still, dude, I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen, and it just gets me every time, even though I know exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah, no, totally fair. It's aged well. I don't disagree with anything you brought up, honestly. With it, I get it,
dude. I love Han's rescue of Luke too at the beginning, man. That's kind of like a real like they became buddies at the end of the first one, at the end of New Hope, but then he really like goes out there, fucking slices open the tauntaun, sticks them in there, like, yeah, because nobody else wanted to go out for him. He was like, my fucking friends out there, like y'all can see.
Yeah, and that was so gross when the tauntaun gets cut open too.
Oh yeah, dude, it's nasty. All the little fucking squirmy guts and shit.
Yeah.
I thought they smell bad on the outside. Yeah, this one's funny too. It's got some good yucks in it.
Billy D. Williams, obviously Lando.
Oh yeah, man. This is the first time you see Boba Fett.
Yep.
I love the shot of like cryoed out Han getting loaded onto the fucking Slave One. Yeah, that shit's tight. I love this one.
Yeah, it's dope. Well, we can keep talking about Star Wars because my 11 is Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Let's fucking go.
Completing the Luke arc. I just think Luke's arc being so well constructed and kind of laid out the way it was is why you feel the way you do about these movies, that it's just one movie. Jabba the Hutt, Jabba's Palace, all of that at the beginning. Slave Leia, obviously iconic and formidable to all of us growing up. This is directed by Richard Marquand, so that's why I don't really believe the whole director thing. This is clearly directed by George Lucas. It's a great conclusion to the trilogy. It's so much fun. I have no problem with the Ewoks at all. I'm like, not.
What is the beef? What is that really? What people have a problem with? That's so.
Yeah, that's what I hear brought up every time when I bring this movie up.
I'll tell you what, bro. Not to cut you off, but I just want to say this. I loved the Ewoks, and I loved the Ewok solo shit, bro. I used to watch. I had Caravan of Courage on fucking VHS, so I loved all the Ewok shit. Sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I never saw Caravan of Courage, I'll be honest, but like. There's just the speeder bikes. There's so many, the ATSDs, the AT-ATs, like the way that they're able to kind of hang in there with the Empire by like just battling back with like woods and like rocks and stones and like sticks. I get it's over the top, but it's the point.
It's like a farmer's revolt or something.
Right. It's like the Vietnam.
Dude, totally.
Yeah, it is a very clear allegory, and I don't have a problem with it. I thought they were really well done by probably Jim Henson, I would assume. And dude, like
the Battle of Endor is pimp. That blows my mind that people don't like that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. The end discussion with Vader and Luke after they've had one of, if not the best lightsaber duel in the history of Star Wars.
It's awesome.
The green lightsaber I was obsessed with as a kid. The all black look, the robot hand, like. The dude was just fucking badass and like has had such an arc as a character in Luke. Han and Lando are really great, and this is what everybody just shows up. It's a great time. It has a climax that lives up to what it's built to, and it's a really satisfying ending to the trilogy and frankly the series if it would have been. And like,
dude, I love this fucking movie. This has always been my second favorite. Always.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like. So I like watching it at like 7 years old. This is like perfect for a 7-year-old, and it's just Empire. If I would watch these as an adult, Empire probably is my favorite, but I didn't watch them for the first time as an adult. So based on when and where I watched them, Return of the Jedi has always been the Star Wars I think of when I think of Star Wars. And it's number 11 for a reason. Like, I love this movie. I can watch it without seeing the first two or seeing the first two. It doesn't really matter to me. I also like appreciate of the Star Wars movies. I feel like it benefits the most from what the prequels were trying to do. So like the most is added to it from the prequels.
Right.
So that's kind of nice. But yeah, it's just a good time. I enjoy the movie a lot. I'm pro Ewok.
Dude, I could not be happier to support that. The fucking Battle of Endor is so sick, man. It's like the Ewoks
and everything.
It's hilarious, dude. Why are people so mad at that? Like, yeah, and they even show like, yeah, the Ewoks, one Ewok by itself, it'll get crushed, but like, no, there's a ton of them, and it's like the Viet Cong, dude. Like, you're in their territory. They're using all their little environmental advantages. And yeah, dude, it's like it goes along with the rebellion. It's like that's so sick.
Yeah, it goes perfect. Yeah, I agree.
It's awesome. It's great. I love the change of scenery. I love the speeder bike battle on Endor.
Absolutely.
The stormtroopers. It's so sick. You talked about the battle at Jabba's palace over the fucking sand dunes or whatever. That's great.
Sarlacc pit, iconic.
The fucking Sarlacc pit, dude. Come on. And fucking, oh man, this one. I was saying how like Vader has all the cold-blooded lines in Empire. This is the one where Emperor Palpatine emerges as this fucking like where, okay, this is the dude that's behind everything. Like, and he has some fucking cold-blooded lines, dude. Like,
yeah, he looks scary. He looks scary too.
He's fucking freaky looking, man. Like, yeah, he's like, I can tell you want to kill me. He's like, it's kind of like John Doe in 7, where it's like, I know what you want to do. He's like, kill me and fulfill my master. He's like, strike me down with all your hatred, and your journey to the dark side will be complete. Like, that is a fucking cold-blooded ass line.
You're right.
And there's another one he hits him with too. Oh, dude, so be it, Jedi. Oh man, come on, dude. That you said it about the it being a great conclusion. It is, man. It's very satisfying. Considering what kind of a crazy arc that it does have, like that, like the source of tension could not have been higher in the second one, but in the third one they still kind of like raise the stakes. Like, it's still like, because he gets into such an intense battle with Vader, and you really see like when he, like, you really see where it almost could have gone the other way. Like, like when Vader starts talking about Leia and like goading him, basically, that's when Luke basically fucking loses it. And that's when anyone that has ever like lost their temper, I don't know, man. I feel like that part where Luke gets the upper hand and Vader is just like holding his one arm up trying to defend himself, and Luke is just like overhand slashing him just like over and over and over and over and over again. Like, that feels like just such a like the aggression and the hatred that like Yoda was warning him about. And it's like it does such a good job of showing it. And like you said, the all black dude, it's like he could have very easily just like killed Vader right there and just been the Emperor's bitch. And like, you're my Darth Vader. And like, it is a great way to end it. And yeah, dude, you get to see not only Luke's story arc, but also Darth Vader's, which is like one of the most powerful and one of the most like, he's such an iconic character. And you get his conclusion makes for like probably the most emotionally impactful part of the whole original trilogy.
Yeah, the father element of it was really brought home there well for me. And again, growing up without a dad, that definitely hit me particularly hard to see that happen, and just everything like that. Yeah, I just think this movie again all these movies are perfect to me in this top 20-ish So it's another one that feels perfect with two damn good sequels.
Dude, yeah,
other two movies, I should say.
Yeah, for sure, man. I love the original trilogy. It's such a good.
It can't be matched.
It can, man. It's such a good story. It's such a fucking good story.
Yep, agreed.
Well, yeah, the shit, boys. That does it for this week. We are on the verge of. We are at the gates, gentlemen. The verge of the top 10 coming next week.
Yeah, so man, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe we've already gotten here.
I know, dude. It felt like you were saying, it was gonna take, like, we would never get here, and then all of a sudden, it's like the past 2 weeks is like, oh shit, like it's almost like pump the brakes. It's gonna be fast.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's been a good time. Like, time flies when you're having fun. That's what they say. And yeah, of course, I have not been doing a good job of switching back and forth with the tickers, but whatevs. So yeah, man, this was great dishing on Star Wars, and it was fun watching them, man. It's always fun.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, do you have anything, like, did you watch anything else this week that you would recommend anyone? Like,
so let's see. This week, my wife and I, we decided I like to pick a director and watch through their filmography, and we were thinking about horror directors or different directors we could do, and we're actually starting Dario Argento's filmography from the beginning. So he did Suspiria, he's done Inferno, a lot of Giallo movies, and he's an Italian director, but he's got, he's kind of a renowned director, so we started that. Birds, so like his first movie, we're starting from the beginning and going, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, that's the name of the movie. Really good time, and like very impressive debut from Argento. It's probably available on like Tubi and other places like that. You can pretty easily find a lot of his stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Thing about Giallo is it's basically a detective story where the person who's doing the detecting is not a detective. And this is like about an American living in Rome who witnesses an attempted murder and connected with a killing spree going on in the city, and then conducts his own investigation. So it's just really, really done. Suspiria, it's very different from this. I'll say that right away. Yeah, it's
that is the only Argento one I've seen. I have seen Suspiria. I need to rewatch it. It's been a while.
It's very different than Suspiria, which I'm not as big of a fan of as a lot of people. But yeah, Birds of the Crystal Plumage, pretty easy to follow. It's a murder mystery type of movie with a detective story, but it's really well done. Really bright reds in his movies, and yeah, I had a good time with it.
Nice. Now let me find the filmography. What was the year it came out? Bird with the Crystal Plumage. I see it. Okay.
Yeah, 1970.
Okay, nice. Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Nice. Yeah, I have nothing really to recommend new. Just cruising along with Lady TC on One Piece. We are now into the 3rd season. It's been awesome, such a good time. But other than that, man, I was busy with the Cosmic Countdown films, and they were a lot of fun, dude. Last Action Hero and watching Star Wars and Return of the Jedi was a really good time.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to top 10 next week. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us as always. And yeah, thank you to Sense for including me on this Cosmic Countdown. It's been a great time.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. I really appreciate you doing this show with me every week. It's been a real good time. Been a labor of love for sure, and definitely appreciate everyone that's come through the chat and checked it out. So yeah, man. Like you said, top 10 is next week, boys. So and just let me know, like, if we need to change the time or change the date. Just, I'll keep it like tentatively Thursday, but just let me know. I can always change it.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, it should be Thursday.
Okay, cool.
So
well, yeah, dude. Thanks again. Yeah, that's it. That's it for this week, boys. Top 10 next week. Aaron, thank you again, and thank you to everyone that showed up. Hope y'all have a great rest of the week, or it's just the weekend now. Have a great weekend, boys.
Cheers
And
to the weekend.
yes, indeed. So, dude, thank you again for Aaron the dog. I'm just my 2 cents. Y'all have a great weekend, boys. Catch you on the next one. Peace.